Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Nansha Strike map, one of the new maps available in the Battlefield 4 Naval Strike expansion. This map revolves around a smaller naval base that is in the middle of some pretty serious stormy weather, but it's not quite as intense as Paracel Storm or audibly as obstructive, so you can still have some good infantry firefights and hear people sneaking up on you. I actually prefer the Storm in this versus Paracel Storm because it's just a different feeling and it doesn't really inhibit your combat very much. The main island is divided by a small river that is accessible to rib boats and jet skis, although the attack boats can't quite make it in there. So the island itself internally is very much about infantry combat and smaller boat combat, and it actually plays out really well. There's a lot of destructible shacks and good defensive positions. Now the surrounding islands, although small, are going to be very important on larger game modes like Conquest Large. A lot of the conquest points are going to be out on these tiny little islands that may just have one or two shacks as defensive structures, perhaps a mounted rocket launcher, but other than that it's going to be very important to have attack boat supremacy or air supremacy to try and maintain those points. And impressively enough, destruction has really been carried over into every little aspect of these maps. This concrete bridge that I just crossed has the sides can be blown off by attack boats, and all the main structures and buildings around me can be destroyed. Now back to the main island, there is a really cool underground bunker that I discovered later as I was playing. There's a hole in the side of this mountain here with a cave inside of it. Now the textures inside the cave are really impressive. Definitely an interesting ambiance, and the sound itself reflects really well once inside the cave. The water side end of the cave actually is a pretty good docking port for boats and stuff like that. So if you wanted to make a quick drop with some infantry, this would be a very safe and quick way to get mainland very fast. Hovercraft are going to be great for getting around this map quickly because the rough seas can often slow you down if you're in a boat. The hovercraft seem to be able to get over the waves fairly easily, and then if you don't like the waves, you can always just drive on the islands themselves. In these clips we're playing obliteration game mode, and the MCOMs have been placed on these smaller islands, so it basically means that the main island isn't quite as valuable a place to be other than picking up the bomb, but a lot of the combat is actually going to revolve around these small islands, so having things like attack boats or sea superiority is going to be really important. As I've seen with most of the Naval Strike maps, they strike a really nice balance between vehicular combat and infantry combat, and they often give you a choice between which style you want to play. If you like infantry, stay closer to the mainland, stay inland a bit where the attack boats can't get to you. If you like vehicular stuff, you can go out to the smaller islands. Even so, infantry can definitely hold their own on the small islands, as there's plenty of javelin and rocket launcher fun to be had. The engineer class, without a doubt, should be the most popular class on this map, as you're just going to need to deal with lots and lots of boats. And if you keep your eyes open, you can find some pretty decent weapon emplacements, which are certainly powerful enough to deal with some attack boats, provided that they don't see you before you get your shot off. I think a lot of people were wondering how DICE was going to differentiate 4 different naval-themed maps in Battlefield 4, and I think they've done a great job of doing so with the weather and time of day. Nansha Strike is a perfect example of that, with this storm that is very different from Paracel Storm. Anyway, that wraps it up for the first look at the Nansha Strike map. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to check out the video description for links to the other 3 maps that I have posted today. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.